The News Hour Special Edition.
Good evening, viewers. Thank you very much for joining us here on Times Now. This is the News Hour Special Edition this Saturday evening, and I'm Hina Gamkir. Viewers, 15 innocent citizens died in the blast in Red Fort, around Red Fort in the national capital. Forget what the law prescribes. Go by what is humane. The terror attack on innocents will be called zulm or atrocity by any civilized society. But viewers, a leader of the Congress party finds jalwa or splendor in it. The probe is still on. New details of a sinister plot by the white-collar terror module continue to emerge day after day. A Congress MP, however, called the terror suspect, remember, involved in the car blast earlier, a bhatka hua yuva or misguided youth. Now, if these are misguided youth, what should people of eminence, religious leaders be doing? Guide the misguided back to sanity. But a top Muslim clergy has chosen to back the need for extreme stridence, jihad. Something is seriously amiss, viewers, in our political landscape. Terror has become an opportunity. Unrest is becoming an order. And why do we say this tonight? Let's tell you what exactly has happened. We're talking about a Rahul Gandhi loyalist, Udit Raj, reacting to the Red Fort blast, has called the dastardly terror attack a jalwa. No, his guns aren't trained at the terrorists. Udit Raj is celebrating that government's normalcy claims have been busted by the terrorists. Doesn't matter if lives were lost. He garnished his comment by saying that whenever government says it has buried terror, terrorists show their jalwa or splendor. Listen in.
अभी कश्मीर में भी बम ब्लास्ट हुआ था. जब भी ये कहते हैं कि हमने आतंकवाद को दफन कर दिया, पाकिस्तान में घुस के मारे, तब आतंकवादी अपना कुछ न कुछ जलवा दिखा देते हैं. यानी कुछ न कुछ आतंकवादी गतिविधि करके वो दिखा देते हैं कि देखो तुम्हारी बात में दम नहीं है. कुछ दिन पहले ही कहा था कि देखो जम्मू एंड कश्मीर के अलावा देश में कहीं कोई आतंकवादी गतिविधि हुई नहीं. उन्होंने धड़ाक से यहाँ पर लाल किला में बम ब्लास्ट करके दिखा दिया.
Now, instead of condemning Congress spokesperson's remark, the party rallied behind him. Defending Udit Raj, party MP Tariq Anwar says terror incidents are happening from Kashmir to Delhi, but the government continues to bat its back. BJP hit back hard, slamming Udit Raj's comments as extremely vile and demanded his apology. Branding the Congress party as anti-India, it asked, is terror attack jalwa for the Congress party?
कश्मीर से लेकर दिल्ली तक जो आतंकवादी घटनाएं हुई हैं वो दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है और चिंताजनक है. सरकार अपनी पीठ थपथपाती है, लेकिन हकीकत कुछ और है.
अभी बयान कितना दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है कि आतंकवादी घटनाओं को महिमा मंडित करने का काम कर रहे हैं, आतंकवादियों की तारीफ करने की जलवा दिखा दे रहे हैं. उन्हें तो उनके इस बयान से पूरा देश शर्मसार हो रहा है. उन्हें माफी मांगनी चाहिए.
Udit Raj is saying that terrorism is jalwa. Terrorists do jalwa. For them, Hamla is equal to jalwa. 26/11 is jalwa. Samjhota blast is jalwa. Pulwama is jalwa. Pahalgam is jalwa. This is the way Congress legitimizes and justifies terror. This is the Congress's thought process. For vote bank politics and for vote bank ka halwa, they will call terrorists as jalwa.
Now, viewers, ecosystem's jalwa doesn't end here. If Udit Raj piggybacked on terror to target the Modi government, Jamiat Ulema-e-Hind Chief Maulana Mahmood Madni resorted to provocation playbook. Speaking at the national governing body meeting of the organization, Madni alleged that Muslims were being targeted and exhorted people towards jihad. He said, and I quote, "Jab jab zulm hoga, tab jihad hoga." And that waging jihad against injustice is a sacred religious duty. He raised questions on the functioning of the court, saying Babri and triple talaq verdicts demonstrate that courts are working under government's pressure. And then came his appeal to the Qaum or the community to gather courage. He said a dead Qaum doesn't fight against difficulties, but a Zinda Qaum never surrenders. Listen.
ये वाज़ेह होना चाहिए कि इस्लाम में जिहाद एक मुक़द्दस दीनी फरीज़ा है। जिहाद कुरान में कई मानों के लिए इस्तेमाल हुआ है। जहां जंग व क़िताल के माने में इस्तेमाल हुआ है वो भी जुल्म फसाद के खात्मे और इंसानियत की बका के लिए है। इसलिए जब जब जुल्म होगा तब तब जिहाद होगा। मैं इसको दोबारा कहता हूं, जब जब जुल्म होगा तब तब जिहाद होगा। बाबरी मस्जिद, तलाक सलासा जैसे बहुत से मसलों पर फैसले के बाद यह तासुर आम हो रहा है कि अदालतें हुकूमतों के दबाव में काम कर रहे हैं। अनवापी और मथुरा के मुकदमात को काबिल समाअत करार देने का फैसला भी उसकी एक वाज़ेह मिसाल है। उस वक्त तक ही सुप्रीम कोर्ट कहलाने का, उस वक्त तक ही सुप्रीम कहलाने का मुस्तहिक है जब तक आईन की पाबंदी करे। मुर्दा कौमें मुश्किलात में मुब्तला नहीं होती, वो तो सरेंडर कर देती है। वो कहेंगे वंदे मातरम पढ़ो तो पढ़ना शुरू कर देंगे। और अगर जिंदा कौम है तो फिर हौसला बुलंद करना पड़ेगा, हालात का मुकाबला करना पड़ेगा।
But unfortunately, viewers, the INDIA bloc couldn't gather courage to condemn even this insidious provocation plot. Samajwadi Party, the second largest INDIA bloc constituent in terms of Lok Sabha seats, gave cover fire to Madani. Endorsing his comments, Samajwadi Party spokesperson Manoj Yadav said, Muslims, Dalits and backwards are all being targeted by the government and they must fight back together. The BJP slammed Ecosystem's instigation toolkit, condemning Madani's remarks as highly irresponsible. So the question we ask tonight is, in fact, appeasement now becoming Ecosystem's guiding light? Listen in to the reactions that we got.
मुसलमान ये बात कह रहा है कि उनको टारगेट किया जा रहा है, दलित ये बात कह रहा है उनको टारगेट किया जा रहा है, पिछड़ा ये कह रहा है उसको टारगेट किया जा रहा है। उनकी चिंता बिल्कुल जायज है। मौजूदा सरकार जो सत्ता में बैठी है वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ मुसलमानों को निशाना बनाकर देश में राजनीति करना चाहती है। सुरक्षित कोई नहीं है और सबको मिल के लड़ाई लड़नी है।
जब जब जुल्म होगा तब तब जिहाद होगा। मुझे लगता है यह बहुत ही अनुचित शब्द है, बहुत ही अनुचित वाक्य है। और जिहाद के नाम पर जिस प्रकार से लोगों ने भारतवर्ष में ही नहीं भारतवर्ष के बाहर भी आतंक फैलाया जिहाद के नाम पे, वह हमने देखा है। इररेस्पॉन्सिबल, गैर जिम्मेदारी से भरा हुआ एक वचन है।
ये शरिया की दुकान है, ये संविधान का नहीं करते हैं सम्मान। इसीलिए वक्फ के नाम पर भड़काते हैं, सीए के नाम पर भड़काते हैं, एसआईआर के नाम पर भड़काते हैं। ये भड़काते हैं और दंगे भी लगाते हैं और संवैधानिक संस्थाओं पर हमला भी बोलते हैं, जैसे राहुल गांधी बोलते हैं।
So viewers, we need to debate tonight, irrespective of the provocations or reasons, is killing of innocents with bombs and bullets zulm or inhuman atrocity or jalwa or splendor? If a section feels let down, is a call for violent sectarian uprising like jihad justified? This is what we are going to be discussing this evening on News Hour Special Edition this Saturday. And to discuss it, I'm joined on the debate by Radhika Khera, national spokesperson of the BJP, Sushil Pandit, who is an activist, Advocate Nikhil Jain, who is a political analyst, and Professor Atikur Rahman, political analyst. Good evening to all of you. Thank you very much for joining us here on this debate. I want to begin by asking each one of you one question. When the terrorists exploded bomb near Red Fort, did they display jalwa? Advocate Nikhil Jain, 10 seconds, please.
I think every day BJP spokespersons live to, prove the statement, live by the statement of their supreme leader. मेरी कोई पढ़ाई लिखाई नहीं हुई है दोस्तों. Because if you were to actually look up the dictionary and look at the meaning of jalwa, jalwa means appearance or effulgence or manifestation. That is what the terrorists do when the government is not able to manage them. When the Home Ministry of the country and the Home Minister of the country completely fails in tackling the problem of terror, but instead of talking about accountability in the security lapses that happened in the Red Fort blast and then the Srinagar blast and earlier in the Pahalgam terror attack and all the other terror attacks that have happened under this government, they would much rather talk about a single word being used by some opposition party leader. Okay. Secondly, you talk about the statement of this. We will discuss all
of that. I just wanted opening comments first. Advocate Nikhil Jain. Advocate Nikhil Jain. Jain, allow me to please moderate this debate. I raised one question and I said restrict your comment to 10 seconds, just opening comments on a specific question that I asked. And I would want to go across to my other guests as well. Then, of course, we'll open up this debate and then you are free to, bring up other points as well. Radhika Khera, same question, 10 seconds, please. When the terrorists exploded the bomb near Red Fort, did they display Jalwa?
The Jalwa, only thing that is happening is in the head of Udit Raj and the Congress party. Nikhil Jain here was talking about Jalwa का मतलब sir, Jalwa का मतलब शुभ और तड़क भड़क होता है, इसलिए गाना भी बजता है, हर तरफ तेरा जलवा. I don't know what dictionary that you were referring to. Maybe it's the Pappu Nama that you have, a special dictionary which gives the meaning of Jalwa like you did. तड़क भड़क चमक शोभा ये मतलब होता है जलवा. फिर बता देती हूँ, सलमान खान का गाना है हर तरफ तेरा जलवा. तो ये मत बोलिए जो आप बोल रहे हैं जलवा. You should be ashamed of trying to support the statement of a man who has gone on to say such horrible words which demean the shahadat of every soldier of our country.
Sushil Pandit.
What?
I think what happened at Lal Killa doesn't call for looking up the dictionary or grammar. You need to look up the blown away pieces of innocent citizens. It is pathetic. It's putrid. It is nauseating to see some people looking up meanings, attributing meanings to try and figure out what happened at Lal Killa. It is imbecile. This is an open declaration of war. If it is Jalwa, I hope those who call it Jalwa become part of that Jalwa there and turn into pieces of flesh that had to be scratched off the road in order to determine their DNA.
Well, we will not really wish any such thing, for anybody on this planet. But I completely understand the kind of anger that you have, Mr. Sushil Pandit. Each one of us, are extremely angry at what really happened, how innocent lives really were lost. But Professor Atikur Rahman, we have a leader calling what happened near Red Fort Jalwa. I mean, really? Could you unmute yourself, Professor Atikur Rahman?
The past, few days is the political and our religious class. Pardon.
Go ahead, sir. We couldn't hear you in the beginning, but now we can.
Hina, am I audible? Yeah. Hina, I think the biggest liability on our nation is the political class and the religious, and especially after the Red Fort blast. This is extremely irresponsible statement by Mr. Udit Raj, and our political class is not serious. Since the days of the Red Fort blast, Hina, tell me, has the government, countered any of the experts dealing with terrorism? Have they really, headlines, have been come across that the government is seriously engaging people to talk about dealing with this radicalization? No and no. Why? I don't understand. Why these, people from different political parties, they are garnering votes in the name of terrorism. I mean, what is this going on, Hina? The government, if it is serious, have to engage with every person they think, and experts especially, that how exactly is this radicalization going to stop?
Okay. I will go across to Sushil Pandit to the point on radicalization that you made in just a bit. But before that, Advocate Nikhil Jain and Radhika Khera, since the word Jalwa was being discussed prominently and Nikhil was trying to explain to us the meaning of the word Jalwa, it means splendor, radiance, it signifies brilliance and glory. I mean, coming to the moot point here, why use such words to describe something which is inhuman? And that too, because you want to target the government. Please question the government, please raise questions, but at least simultaneously do not insult the victims of that blast, that terrorist attack. Advocate Nikhil Jain?
Don't you think it was an insult to all the victims of the Red Fort blast when 3 days after the blast, the Prime Minister was waving around a gamcha and getting flower petals on his head because he supposedly won an election in Bihar? Was it not a disrespect to the people who had died when for the first 2 days of the incident, the government did not use the word terror attack and instead floated theories through sources that it is just an accident? Is it not an insult to those people who have died in this terror attack that the government has not yet named Pakistan? Is it not an insult that in the heart of the national capital, right outside the symbol of our independence and sovereignty, the Red Fort, on the ramparts of which the Prime Minister gives his Independence Day speech, a terror attack like this could happen? Is this not disrespect to the victims of Pahalgam who had to suffer because this government was completely clueless on how to manage security in Kashmir? And then the government carried out a military operation and forces did a very brave job
because of all
that.
of this,
but the government
Radhika
never
Khera,
answered on how
Congress
the
party
terror attack in
can
Pahalgam happened in the first
disrespect
place.
the victims
Is
of
this
terror.
not an
Congress
insult to
party
those
can
people when
insult
the
the
Prime
victims
Minister
of
said
terror
that
by
every
calling this
act of
terror
would
dastardly
be an
terror
act of war?
attack a
What happened to
jalwa?
that?
Because all of this has happened, as per Nikhil Jain.
Hina ji, first of all, I agree with Sushil Pandit ji when he says that they should suffer, those terrorists should suffer the same thing that our people and innocent lives have to. And I really truly hope that you take back what you said, that no one should have to suffer. They should suffer even worse.
No, one second.
They should suffer even worse, Hina
One
ji.
second. I think you're misinterpreting.
No, I didn't misinterpret. I heard you very clearly, ma'am.
One second,
don't shout over me.
Radhika
I'll
Khera.
listen to
It
you.
was not for people who were behind this attack. It was for people who are disrespecting people in the opposition. It was for people in the opposition who are playing politics over it, Radhika Khera. Unnecessarily, you are dragging it for no reason. It was not for terrorists. It was for the people in the opposition.
Whoever is supporting those terrorists should meet the same fate as I repeat myself that you should support what he said. All those people who are supporting this terrorist and that mindset should meet the same fate. Why should they not meet the same fate? My blood boils when you say that no, they should not meet the same fate. And every individual in this nation, their blood will boil if they say they should not meet the same fate. I absolutely agree with. I did not speak over him. Then I think you can have a debate with him. I'll leave if you cannot control him. You can shout over me, but you cannot control him.
Advocate Nikhil Jain, allow
That's
her
not
to
the way.
finish the point that she's making. Radhika Khera, please go ahead and make your
And
point.
I will stay by what I said to you, that they should meet the same fate, anybody who supports terrorism. And what we witnessed from Madani calling for jihad under the garb of oppression and Udit Raj glorifying terror by saying terrorists show their jalwa is not a slip of tongue. It is not a misquote. It is a revelation of a mindset, which we even saw from the Congress spokesperson here, who was trying to justify what jalwa means by finding out, I don't know from what Pappu Nama the dictionary was. Let me say this very clearly. You do not justify terror with textbooks or dictionary. You do not sanitize bloodshed with ideology, and you do not glorify mass murder by calling it jalwa. When a leader says jihad should happen, there is oppression. What he is really trying to do is give a moral clearance to violence. When a Congress leader says terrorists show their jalwa, he is not attacking the government. He is insulting the graves of our soldiers and the trauma of the terror-hit families. This is not political discourse. This is normalization of extremism, and this is what the Congress has been doing. We cannot pretend that this was accidental. This is the same ecosystem that cries about human rights every time there's a terror strike. This is the same ecosystem that says, "Hidma ghar ghar mein se aayega." Same that questions the armed forces every time there is an anti-terror operation. And suddenly now they find context when extremists speak the language of violence. It's shameful that Rahul Gandhi has not come forward and has condemned what he has said. In fact, this man should be removed and sacked from the Congress. And he has said these kind of things multiple times. And each time he gets more Zaharila with each statement, yet he continues to be the head of the Unorganized Workers' Conference. His brain is on the unorganized when he can speak against the nation.
Okay.
And let me remind the panel today and the nation, oppression does not justify bombs, injustice does not sanctify bullets, and grievance does not legalize the massacre. And what the Congress leader has said needs to be condemned, and he should be put to jail for saying that.
Okay, and specifically on the point that you raised earlier, to make people meet same fate, that's clearly up to the government and the law, because it is a law-abiding society that we all are a part of. I want to go across to Sushil Pandit now. Sushil Pandit, now there is another very important aspect that we are discussing in this debate. Maulana Madni says, "Jab jab zulm hoga, tab tab jihad hoga." I mean, what is really happening in this country? What is he trying to do? Professor Atikur Rahman was also talking about the need to stop radicalization. The people who can bring these so-called misguided youth back on the path of sanity are making these kind of statements.
Yes, Hina, those who were resorting to dog whistle till yesterday are now openly and brazenly calling for an uprising. That is what it is. To put it plainly, you don't have to beat around the bush. He is threatening a civil war in this country, plain and simple. And he is calling the masses to arms. He is appealing to Muslims. You are a Zinda Qaum. You cannot take so-called injustice lying down. That is what he is doing. And he is doing it from a position of responsibility. He does it as one of the chieftains of Darul Uloom Devband. He is one of the better known clerics in this country. And therefore, he should be, and as a citizen I can wish, we are a country of rule of law, the first responsibility that the state has to protect itself. He should be immediately detained and made an example of. Immediately. No questions asked. He's on record. He's speaking in his own voice. It is his face. It is an event. There is a date, time, and place to it. There is no need for any more evidence. He should be immediately handcuffed, dragged to a prison cell, and prosecution begins. With that, let him apologize, let him clarify later. But right now, this country cannot afford a loose cannon cleric calling to arms masses of Muslims, saying they are suffering injustice, and therefore it is legit for them to take up arms and wage a jihad. A jihad in this country?
That's not what he said.
He ought to be made an example of immediately.
Professor Atikur Rahman, will you still ask how to stop radicalization? Because the people who can actually, tell the people of the community to follow the path of sanity are saying things like, jab jab zulm hoga, tab tak jihad hoga. He's raised questions on the functioning of the courts. According to him, Babri and triple talaq verdicts demonstrate courts are working under government's pressure. How can something like this be allowed, sir?
Hina, I would seriously urge my community, my religious leaders, ulema, especially Maulana Madni, not to take these steps. These are very negative steps, and our Prophet never allowed this. You are somewhere, helping irresponsible government. And Radhika, I would urge the government of India, if you do not want to hear Maulana Madni, please hear the words of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Hina, you know what Sardar Patel said to the Constituent Assembly? I think that a discontented minority is a burden and a danger, and that we must not do anything to injure the feelings of any minority so long as it is not unreasonable. Hina, I am urging the government to engage with sensible people.
Government will do its own job. Fine. I will get Radhika Khera to respond to the point that you are making. But what about the role of these clerics who are making these kind of statements, who are trying to incite people, who are trying to instigate people? Why don't you condemn them? Professor Atikur Rahman? Okay, I don't think he can hear me. But Sushil Pandit, isn't that a valid point?
Can you please repeat that thing?
No, I was saying I'll ask Radhika Khera about what the government can do and should do. But what about these clerics, these rabble-rousers?
Hina, you asked.
Okay, Sushil Pandit first and then Professor Atikur Rahman.
I have always held Professor Atikur Rahman as more reasonable among the clerics that I have met. I have respect for him. And he very clearly disassociated himself with what Madni has said. I think he could go only that far and no more.
But he quoted Patel. Patel did not prescribe jihad.
However,
he quoted Patel. Patel did not prescribe jihad.
And Patel did not condone grievance mongering. Patel did not say that please manufacture a dissent when none exists. Patel did not say incite people for imagined injustice.
Professor Atikur Rahman, please respond very quickly, then Radhika Khera.
No. my only purpose to quote Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel is that the minorities need to be engaged by the government. You need to talk to the minorities. I know that the minorities, the Muslims are being, radicalized by the same elements you are quoting to, that you are into something very much, severe by this government. And the government is not listening to us. The government need to engage those people in the universities, in the colleges, in all our institutions. We are ready to, engage with the government. Why exactly these people are having a heavy hand rather than the government?
Radhika Kheda, two questions.
Radhika,
One on the issue of engagement and second on the aspect of somebody calling for jihad, saying things like jab jab zulm hoga tab tak jihad hoga. Will your government take action against such people?
Atiq or Rahman is trying to justify what that man said by saying the government is not engaging. The government is engaging, which is why everybody in this country is living in harmony, which is why Muslims are progressing, and they were oppressed actually when the Congress government was in power, which is why the triple talaq bill was always opposed, which is why jab triple talaq ka case aaya tha, to Shahbano ke case ko ulta kar diya gaya tha.
Okay. What about the issue of taking action against such rabble-rousers like Mohammad Madni?
There will be action
Maulana
because
Madni.
There will be action because democracy offers courts, ballots, protest, dissent. But the moment when someone says jihad is the answer, he is not fighting oppression. He is declaring war against the constitution. And saying that terrorists are showing jalwa is not critique.
So you're saying action will be taken against him? So you're saying action will be taken?
I am sure my government will take action against him as well as the man who justifies that
Advocate Nikhil Jain, closing comments, 10 seconds, please.
Can I please come in? Thank you so much. First of all, let me make it clear for the record, Mr. Madni has very clearly said enemies of Islam and Muslims have made jihad a synonym of abuse, conflict and violence. It is unfortunate that responsible people in government and media feel no shame in using such terms. In Islam, jihad has been used in the Quran in several respects.
Under government's pressure after the verdict into Babri Masjid, triple talaq and several matters. It seems courts are functioning under government's pressure. He has said that. By the way, Advocate Nikhil Jain, we have Dr. Shama Mohammed from the Congress party only, slamming the same Madni that you are trying to defend on the debate this evening. Anyways, I'm completely out of time, but thank you very much all of you for joining us here on debate number 1. Heading into a short break.